Yeah, make sure you tag me.
Yeah, I do that, and make sure I get over to the YouTube and see what we got going on
You
over
gonna have to
there.
show me. You gonna have to show me how to get on that YouTube.
And make sure I get over to the YouTube and see what we got going on
You
over
gonna have to
there.
show me. You gonna have to show me how to get on that YouTube.
And make sure I okay. The YouTube and see what we got going on over there.
You gonna have to show me. You gonna have to show me how to get on that YouTube.
And make sure I okay. The YouTube and see what we got going on over there.
You gonna have to show me.
Give me just a minute, man.
Okay.
Tag some people. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man, we already got some people in the building. It must be a hot topic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all give me a second to make some adjustments.
You echoing, man. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm turning down my phones. One second. Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Bench podcast show with Robert Starks, aka Big Rob, in the building.
What's up?
My
What's up,
brother
family?
Maceo, my brother Maceo Ellison, aka Easy, in the building.
Happy Thursday.
And we got a special guest in the building, Miss Sheridan Simpson. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
So what we're doing tonight is kind of near and dear to my heart because I've seen, and I'm a product of a home that with divorce and different type of things like that. And a lot of people really don't understand the consequences of a divorce and how it splits your families, does you financially, obligations between your kids and other situations. So right off the rip, where I'm going with this is, does anybody on here believe in having a soulmate?
Nope.
You don't think so? How about you, Miss Simpson?
A soulmate?
Yes, ma'am. Do you believe in that, in such a thing?
Well, in marriage, I do, because when you become one, You're becoming one in the relationship of a soul.
Okay, that makes sense. But like at the rate that divorces are going, it's almost like you're looking for a needle in a haystack.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying you can't find it, but it seems like the misery is outweighing the company. You know what I'm saying? Like it's for every 4 couples, it's 3 divorces.
Mhm.
And the impact of it is felt a lot different than a person that's been happily married for the whole life and other parts that come with that. But when you talking about your kids being separated and you going against other family members to marry that person, what does that feel like? And then the relationship failed. I know with Starks, we'll start with him. He's been through some divorces.
Oh damn.
Yeah, well, but fortunately, no,
Get it
but
right hotline.
no, but fortunately, he's found a true love, and I've been with him on the journey since he's been back to Texas, and he seems to be as happy as he has ever been. So, what do you take from your prior experiences to finding the one that you love now and making it work?
Okay. Well, I can speak on it. I've been divorced twice. Um, just speaking on it, when you're looking for something, and that's why I had to disagree with you as far as uh, do you believe in finding your soulmate?
Right.
It's more, do you believe in finding somebody that has a lot in common with you once you get past the looks and the physical attraction?
Okay.
That's when you're getting into the core. What are our beliefs? Are we looking for the same thing in life? My first divorce, I married a friend because she liked hip hop and I like hip hop. She liked to drink beer. I like to drink beer, and we got married. That lasted like all of that long, 5 minutes, because we really didn't have any core things in common with one another. I don't even want to talk about the second wife. Y'all knew her, and that was just a
I don't know
whole
nothing.
different circumstances on that one. But after the physicalness wears off, what do you got? That's when you're looking for that person of what you got in common with them.
Right.
My wife now, we've been together for 25 years, married 24, and our goals have never changed as far as what we're striving for, what we're trying to do in life. So
Relationship goals.
yeah, and that's what it is, because I always say after that hour, you still got 23 hours left in the day. What you gonna do? How are we gonna gel? Am I gonna go to my corner and you go to your corner and we meet up next time we want to get that good hour in? And that's so your soulmate is not, I think a soulmate is learned as much as, because the whole experience of getting to know someone and learning about that person, to me, that's more fun in life. And especially the more that you find out and you guys grow together as a couple. And that's what I did. The first 2 divorces, I went for the pretty girl and the friend. And
Right.
neither one of those worked out
And
at all well. So I went on, and in my third, I went for the beauty instead of, and the beauty is on the outside. And my wife is a very good looking woman, but I concentrated more on what was on the inside of her than I did that was on the outside of her. And that is one of the main reasons why we've been together so long.
Ms. Simpson, you mind speaking on your situation, please?
My situation is similar to yours. I've had 2 divorces. My first marriage was something that I actually asked for. I actually prayed for.
Oh,
I
wow.
was a single mom. I was living with my mom and dad. You know how grandparents are with their grandkids. I find
Yes,
myself being that same way,
me
trying to
too.
tell you how to raise them, what to do.
Yeah,
I was a grown woman, but they never did give me a chance to realize I was grown. So I wanted and desired and remember saying in a prayer, Lord, send me a husband. And actually what I realized was I actually got my dad as a husband. My
wow.
second, when we got, what I mean by that I actually, let me explain that. What I mean by that is I got my dad for a husband. Back in the older days, doing a marriage, you stayed in that marriage through thick and thin. You didn't, too many people didn't get divorces back then.
Yeah.
But even though it's growing up as kids, you watch something that was disfigured in your family, but yet you still don't realize some things are not right that are in the marriage.
Right.
So I watched my dad for years. A lot of people knew my dad. My dad Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home.
Right.
But what I end up getting in my marriage with my dad to my husband was the same man. I got a provider. That's what I got. I got a man that I felt safe around. The first thing that I wanted, realizing that someone that was going to accept my child as their own. Right. I received all of those things. But as with my second husband, that came to a point of mistrust in the first marriage.
Right.
Infidelity in the first marriage. And what I was seeking to find in someone as a man was to make me feel what I wanted to feel as a woman of being married.
Right. Well,
Yep.
like nowadays, let's put it like this. With today's way, the way things are going, and women basically saying they don't need a man or even desire him anymore. Where do we go from there? Because marriage is supposed to be sacred. Okay, and again, we going a different way. I know, like with Maceo, I'm not sure he went through a divorce, but I think your wife was in a prior marriage. Is that the way I'm seeing it?
And no, I went through a divorce.
Oh, I didn't
my
know that.
parents got divorced, and
Right.
yeah, but oddly enough, it really didn't bother me, to the point that when my mom left, she's like, "You want to go with me?" I was like, "Nah, stay here with my friends." So, the next year I graduated from 8th grade and I went to boarding school. So that's how she kind of circumvented me living with my dad. Because my dad was a good dude, man, but just like a lot of the guys his age, you know, they only knew how to be providers. You know,
Right.
wasn't a whole lot of hugging, and you know, and as a kid, I would come home from school and I would watch all that, the Brady Bunch and the Dick Van Dyke Show and all that stuff where,
Right.
you know, it's two parents in the house. But it's, you know, I never saw my parents. I can't think, maybe one time I saw them be affectionate towards each other. But
Oh, wow.
I said that, and you know, my mom before she passed told me a lot of things. But I think about that now, and you know, I'm always gonna put it on the black man. I think we seeing a lot more divorces because women are a lot more independent. Like back in the day when when my mom and dad were married, you know, they would put up with a lot.
Right.
They put up with way more than what we did.
Yes.
But now you know, marriage is sacred, but we all fall in love for different reasons, right?
Right.
And you think it's the right move at the time. I mean, you what they say, you can't rush love or something.
No,
But
you can't.
a lot of times you can't, but at the same time, you know, like for me and Starks, even you being in the Army, she might be about to leave, or you might be about to leave, and you like, man, I don't want to risk losing this person, so you get married.
So you make an impact.
But I think, I think divorce is way. I think it gets a bad rap because, and I hate to make it so simple, but it's like shopping for cars, bruh. You can't really know what happiness is until you become happy, and you don't know what makes you happy. So 9 times out of 10, the woman you marry ain't gonna know how to make you happy. So I think, like Stark said, man, especially with soulmate, I think that it is grown. It becomes that, because it won't start off as that. You know, you got to go through you can't call nobody your best friend, man, unless you done been through it. If everything been white picket fences and dogs, and ain't been no conflict, that's just a buddy. But when you go when things get hairy and everybody hang in there, you know, that's how you build a soulmate. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying. And like I said, I've never been through a divorce, but I saw what it did to my parents. But I also saw what my friends went through. A lot of my friends that I've like, because I waited till I was 31 to get married. Tried to make sure everything was out of me before I decided to do it. But like I said, I seen the hardships of working a job where you was working 12 to 16 hours a day. I'm working with these guys side by side. They being providers and they bringing all this money home, but they're not spending time.
Yeah.
And you don't realize. I know I didn't realize how much time meant over the money. A woman value time way more
than money.
And like I said, when you're young, you don't comprehend that. I'm 25, 24 years old, coming from the military, and I'm making 3 times what I make in a month, in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. You know where I work. So I'm like, I'm having time with enjoying this money, but my girl always got this smile, this face, like, damn, you don't spend no time. You don't spend no time with me. You don't spend no. I'm like, shit, go shopping, go do something, or I'm gonna help you with some school stuff. I'm gonna help you with whatever. But that money never did make up for it. So not necessarily, but like Maceo saying, you really don't know you happy until you are happy. Because that was just a bad breakup, but it felt like a divorce.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, like one of the topics that I wanted to take to it was like, what makes it worse is when you have family that's telling you that person is no good for you, and you go around your family for that person, and then you dealing with, I told you so, so it affects us in a whole lot of ways.
Well, that's the number one rule, though, Craig. I don't tell my mom and I don't tell my family nothing about what's going on in my house, because at the end of the day, me and her gonna make up. Once you tell something bad to your parents or your siblings about your wife, they don't get over that as easily as you might do.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? So I learned the hard way on that one, and I said, nope, I don't tell my mom, my family what's going on, because I know at some point me and my wife is gonna make up. But my mom and them ain't gonna make up. They gonna remember. Nah, I still remember.
Yeah.
So I always say that's one of the bad things to do when you're talking about family in your marriage. Don't involve them that way. Find a good friend that you can sound off on and confide in versus family, because family is not the people. Because you're right, the family is going to develop their own. Yeah, they're going to take your side, and then exactly They're gonna
Ma'am.
It could
take your
also be
go
vice
ahead.
versa. I'm sorry. It could
No,
also
go ahead,
be
man.
vice versa. The
Okay.
reason why I said it can also be vice versa is because sometimes the in-laws take into the husband or the say, for example, I can talk about it because my family and I have talked about this.
Mhm.
With my husband, my first husband and I, with our divorce, my family didn't turn against my husband. They turned against me.
Wow.
But like you say, I never was the type of person that would go talk about our problems to my family. But my husband was the type of person that would go confide in my mother. It was as if though when I was going through a divorce, the bad part about a divorce is going through death while you living. That means you don't have nobody because
Yeah.
it seems like that everybody is against you. And what people think that they know, your house wasn't made of glass. So no one knows what you're going through. So
Tell the
it
truth,
taken
ain't the
me,
devil.
yeah, it taken me, oh gosh, it taken years before I even got a relationship back with my family because my family took my husband's side.
Well, they perceived that he was right.
Yes, because of him going to relate things with what was going on in the house. I
Mhm.
didn't try to keep it hid, but I didn't think it was their business.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not. It's not your. It's not. I love my mom and I love my family, but they don't need. I don't need that advice on that. I don't need that. I go to Maceo. I go to Craig. I talk to my brothers because they're gonna shoot me real. My family's gonna always side with me. So sometimes you need that. It's your story, they story, and the truth. And
Right.
sometimes you need that truth in your life.
Yeah.
And
But let me
so,
ask you this. I don't mean to cut you off,
no, go ahead, brother.
but is it divorce the person, divorce the family? Or is that not a real statement?
No.
You don't think so?
No, as a matter of fact, I know not. Here's why. My family never did divorce my first husband,
Right.
which caused me problems with my second husband. Because every time that I'm trying to get back to mingle back with my family, with my second, to be honest, when we talked about time, my first husband made the money, but he never gave me time. My second husband made money, but he gave me time. But because my family didn't divorce my first husband, it caused my second husband to feel rejected. He never did be able to feel as if though he was a part of the family. So that brought division between me and my family because, you know, hey, you going with your husband. You know, if you don't like my husband hadn't done nothing with you or against you, then that brings division.
Right. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But let me segue into this there. Because when it's time for the relationship to be over, what is this irreconcilable differences? Like I know a lot of people.
Something happens so bad that they can't get over it.
But what could that be? I mean, not aside from cheating. No. Hear me out. The obvious is cheating. So that's infidelity. Okay, financial, you know, running off with all the money, whatever, not being able to provide financial. But what is irreconcilable differences? Is that just a code word for something else?
No, that's just that they can't get that. Something happened where they can't get back together. That's plain and simple. Something. I mean, and you don't know, man. You know, we're better off apart.
But it can't be an isolated incident, can it?
I mean, it could be an isolated incident, or it could be a bunch of incidents. You know, the bruh, you just said that when you was making all that money,
Right.
you wasn't ready to settle down, right? Two
Right.
things, well, a couple of things I done learned in my old age, right? A good woman, somebody that you was totally into, that had your mind, body, and soul, that wouldn't even been a question.
Right.
And that's when we talking about soulmates, that's a soulmate. It's like they always say, good player make everybody else step their game up.
Facts.
The right person will make you, you know what I'm saying? And when you
Step your game
like
up.
for me, if I'm making decisions, I can talk to Craig, I can talk to Rob, but ultimately it's got to be my decision. You know why? Because if it's a mistake, I'm gonna blame you. That's why
Right.
you don't involve your family. And a lot of times we care about our family so much, but you got to be straight with them. Look, this is who I'm with. This is who I love. Good, bad, or indifferent. If y'all don't like it, I can't be here. That man.
Because once you get
Because you
married,
got
your
family.
mom and them become your extended family. You right, Maceo?
Yeah, but people don't like to see you happy, bro. And I'm sorry that happened to you, man, because that man, family know better than that. That's just messy.
Yeah, yeah, and especially
That's
that's
messy.
especially when they take the spouse aside over yours. I mean, you know, my mom. I know my mother and father would never have done that to me. But they'll look at me and say, "Hey, you know, you might need to check yourself too, bruh.
Right. Right.
It ain't totally the other
Yeah.
person's fault, but you my child, so I'm gonna run with you. You know, I'm gonna ride with you. But hey, you might need to check yourself too."
One thing I learned,
Right.
and Miss Simpson know my mama. If I did something wrong, I was held accountable. I mean, like she never took up for us if she knew we was wrong. And I was the type though, I would go back to my mama because my mama would take my side, but I would tell her, hey, look, yeah, I did do this, you know, I did cause this. And then she would tell me, you know, right from wrong, but for the most part, she wouldn't uphold that. And when I see people in relationships now, sort of like what we're all talking about, it's almost hard not to take sides, but it happens. You see what I'm saying? Like, who you gonna be with? Because it puts you in a position like, okay, we split. So where the kids go? Who the kids gonna?
Wow.
They have no choice but to take sides.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's a hard that's
But
hard.
as a parent though,
Right.
if your kids are important to you, the kids gonna come first. So hey, we're not gonna be together. Who do you want to live with? That's the way to handle that.
Okay, but what if they're not at that age?
Well, if they ate like 7, 8 years old, then they can't
Yeah,
make that decision.
I mean, maybe they can, but if you have kids and the kid, of course, the kids are involved in the divorce. If you guys can't figure out what makes the kids happy, then you shouldn't be parents because it's about the kids.
Exactly. But at the
It's
time
about
when
the
people
kids.
when people are getting a divorce, the anger is so fueled that the
Right.
kids are usually left in the background, you know, and they don't even got a choice. And I was so lucky that when my parents got
Who
divorced,
comes first though? Who comes first?
Miss
You or the
Simpson,
we
kids?
all are gonna say we always are all gonna say the kids, but when you going through a divorce and that anger and that anger that you got towards that other person, why you think all these women they be like, how can I hurt this man the most? And I'm being honest because not most of the time
oh yeah, the kids come into play.
kids go with the mother. How can I hurt my ex-husband the most? Keep them kids from him. Keep them kids from them, and you'll see them cut a donkey, you know, and it's just sad that it's like that because, like you say, Maceo, the kids should never be
come into play.
But they always do. It's never happened for me, but I got friends that it's happened to, and they sitting on Facebook, they sitting up there crying because they can't see their kids. But let that alimony check not be there.
But me and you both know.
Go ahead,
but
Mason.
We know that ain't right.
Yeah.
But that comes with, that comes with a bitter woman. Some women go through divorces and they're not bitter. Right. It was just something that did not work out.
Right.
But when you have a lady or a woman that keeps her child away from their dad, it's not about the kids. It's about the bitterness that she still have for that man. Now, with me and my divorce and my kids, like I said in the beginning, my oldest daughter was not my husband's biological daughter.
Right.
But in the old saying is, he failed her till she began to look like it. In other words, that was the only daddy that she knew. But,
and I knew her. I knew her too.
As a woman, that a lot of women do not admit, the worst thing looking back over life that I done was to get a divorce because I was selfish. I didn't think about my kids. I didn't think about what it was going to take my kids through. But my kids had this tug of war game. They didn't know they love mama and they love daddy. They didn't know who to please. At the time of my husband's divorce and our girls was teenagers, pre-teenagers. Right. My oldest girl went plumb through depression. My youngest girl went to the point of where, let me see if I can get over with daddy. If whatever mama tell me now, then I'm gonna go hang with daddy. Daddy might tell me, yeah. So what you're doing right there is you're destroying your kids, but not only are you destroying your kids as kids, you're destroying your kids to become grown up whenever they decide to get married. Because you're sending them through a similar pattern. They don't know they don't know what it's like to be in unity in a marriage, because they watched us argue for years. Mm-hmm. So when they get ready to get married and they're wondering, what have I done wrong in my marriage, or what am I doing wrong in my marriage? Sometimes it's not all about what they're doing wrong or what they have not done wrong. It's what they grew up to watch, what they grew up to pattern after. My baby girl, I know my baby girl patterns after me. I thank God that he changed me. But back in my marriage, my mouth, if you done something wrong, I wouldn't like the older women. I didn't hold that stuff in. Negro, let me let you know. So, and that's the way she is. But we have to learn in divorce. One thing about divorce, and I'm gonna be quiet. This is what really
speak on it
about a divorce. A divorce is death while you're still living. You a dead man or a dead woman walking. Because not only does it kill you, but it kills everybody that's affected with you. And the biggest thing it affects your kids. It affects your kids. But do you stay in that marriage?
That's exactly what I was out. That's what I was about to ask. Do you stay in the marriage because of the kids?
That's right.
When it go back, I would say a lot of people do. But this goes back to something that Miss Simpson said at the beginning of the whole conversation. Back then, I know here it was real rare for people to get divorces. I'm talking about older couples one would sleep on the couch, one would sleep in the other room, but they kept everything under that roof.
Yes.
And even now, let's be honest, our granddaddies beat our grandmothers.
Yeah, they
don't want to admit that, but your grandmother got beat. Mm-hmm. And these guys will go home, get drunk, white man done did whatever they did to him that day. They going home to take it out on mom and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you kept it under that roof.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that was toxic before we even really knew what toxic was.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times now, which going to lead to that whole conversation at the end about, because I had a guy that I went to work with that got a divorce, but I didn't have no idea. And through his divorce, his wife really took half of his retirement.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that's possible? Like,
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to what Stark's saying. If a woman really want to mess you around at the end, she got that power.
Yep.
And even in the state of Texas, I know it's hard for a man to take kids away from a woman. Because I've seen it where the woman been on drugs or whatever. But in the state of Texas, it's hard for a man to just literally outright get his kids.
Yeah.
So then you gotta understand, okay, is this a financial situation to where I'm gonna take these kids because I know it's a check that's coming with that, or do I love them? And I'm just putting it out there like that. I think my situation was more, my mom loved us because we knew we wasn't getting no child support out of that situation. Hey, I rather have love than nothing, bro.
I know that's right. Hey, the financial obligation, I can't speak on that, man. I always said that if that's your kid, that's your life, man. That's your seed. Of course, you're gonna have to take care of that, and taking care of the seed is also gonna mean that you got to take care of the mama, or the spouse. Because it goes both ways. Because I done seen Negroes done took J-Lo to the bank too. Her ex-husbands took her to the bank. So Halle Berry ex-husband took her to the bank. So it goes both ways.
It really don't.
But for the poor folks, us common folks, it's mainly the woman that
Ain't a woman.
Hey man.
Speak on it easy.
I said it, and I'm gonna say it on here. Child support is the biggest racket in the United States. I said it. I said what I said. But anyway, I think a lot of times now that you realize you only get one shot at life, man. And I think some people, especially concerning divorce, they're like, hey, I want to be happy. And if this relationship ain't making me happy, I'm out. And I see both sides. But then you have some people, they're going to stay for the kids. I think my mom left because I was of age and she had already raised two more. I was like, my brother and sister, 9 and 10 years older than me. So by that time, she was like, man, she's like, Papa, I ain't going to take it no more. And she dipped, and I can't be mad. But the problem is it didn't affect me. And like even with divorce,
so you saying you didn't feel no type of way for real?
Nah, bro. You know why I stayed with my dad? Because all my friends was over there. Because all my friends was over there. You know how I ended up in boarding school? Because my mom called the house, and I didn't answer. And she's like, "Where you was?" And I was probably about 14. So, long story short, I ended up in a boarding school. She tricked me, but
Yeah.
mean, it is what kids, man. We say stay for the kids, but if there's no love in the house, what are the kids seeing?
Yeah, what she saying?
Like you said, our grandparents, our granddads beat our grandmothers. So what did our parents? What kind of example did they have?
Well, that's what I was going to say, but that's what created the strong black woman. That's what created the strong. Yeah, that's what created the Pam Griers and all of them.
Yeah. So now, if a woman you ain't treating her right and ain't giving her time, she gonna dip. But again, there's no handbook to marriage, man.
Nope.
We marry people because we're in love. Don't mean it's gonna be that way forever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of by stepping that financial obligation. Are you talking about financial obligation to the kids, or are you talking about financial obligation to your
Well,
ex-wife?
I'm saying that to say this. A lot of times the woman ain't strong enough financially to stand on her own. So the child support and the other things that come into play are usually used for other bills and to do other things with. Going back to Miss Simpson's situation, I'm kind of close to her in the fact, like she was talking about her younger daughter, what she couldn't get from her, she could easily get from her dad, because her dad, he loved Brittany. Everybody knew that, and she loved her dad. So it wasn't taking nothing from her mom. It was just like,
Right.
this was just a better option for me. I know dad ain't gonna tell me no.
Right.
Kids nowadays they have enough intuition to know that. They know where the bread buttered at.
Mm-hmm.
You can love your mom all you want to, but my dad is the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, now the world has moved more towards material.
Yes.
So now you're looking at, okay, I could get more over here.
Mm-hmm.
My kids experienced that because they were in a 2-parent household. When I grew up, that's all I ever wanted was to be in a 2-parent household, because I knew them kids lived better versus the kids like us that was my mom working 2 or 3 jobs. We bootlegging out the side door. We hustling. We having to cook for ourselves. We having to survive. But when kids got it, that good love from both parents, but love from both sides, can get anything they want. Trust me, they're gonna play that. They're gonna play that card. And it's sad, but it's true.
Well, we talk about the financial obligations, and truth be told, now you got a lot of strong Black women that are independent.
Right.
When my husband and my first husband and I, when we went through a divorce, I wasn't strong in finance, but I'm going to share something that I just got to share. That's what got me through. I was strong in relationship with God.
Right.
And when we went through a divorce, like we was talking about, you can get the husband or the wife retirement. You can get that. My ex-husband was in the Navy, had retirement, had everything. When we went through a divorce, it depends on why you're going through a divorce. Some people, some women's I can speak of, go through divorces for a financial gain.
Right.
Some women go through divorces because they just want peace. And when I went through my divorce, I didn't ask for retirement. I didn't ask for child support. I didn't ask for nothing. But by the law of Texas, you had to pay child support.
Right.
But when you get to the point as a woman and you're strong in believing and knowing that you're going to make it, you don't really focus on finance unless you in it for the wrong thing of a divorce, unless you're a gold digger. Some women get a divorce just to get in your money. That's what some do. But when you're to the point that you are strong enough that know that you can take care of you and your kids, you don't worry about trying to get their retirement unless you're not over the man.
Oh.
If you're not over the man, you're draining for everything he got because you're a bitter person. You want to see them go down. You're not really getting out of that divorce for peace, or you're not really getting out of that divorce because it's not working out. You getting out of that divorce actually because of the hurt. But as finance, women work 3 and 4 jobs a day. Some women are the breadwinners. Some women bring home more than the men. But I don't never catch too many times that in today's life, if a woman make more than what her husband make, you don't hardly ever see the man going after the woman money.
Right.
Just take care of kids with your money.
Well, I can speak on that a little bit, ma'am, because if me and my wife get a divorce, she's the breadwinner, and I'm definitely going after her money.
You wrong, son. Yeah, wrong.
That's what I
hope you. Hey, it was bro. It was at a point I helped mine go through college.
Yeah.
I was saying the same thing. I want mine back. I'm in the court. I'm in the courtroom. I look at her judge.
Here go receipts.
Hey,
I bought their books.
I put that little helper through college. I need mine back. I need some.
Yeah, some on the light bill or something. But yeah, you're right.
So you speaking truth to power when you say that woman is bitter and she's not over that man, because I've seen that as well. So with that being said, though, let me put it like this. So is there really a such thing as relationship?
Can I say something before you go there?
Yeah, go ahead, Maceo.
Can I? You know what's crazy about what you said? A woman will be bitter, right?
Right.
You bitter, and if you still love them, why don't you try to fix it? But you don't want to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
It's too easy to walk away.
You want to divorce, and then then you know what happens? You take him for a lot of his stuff. He get back on his feet, find somebody better, and then you mad 2 times. That's the way it go.
It happens, but at the same time, when you nothing hurts worse than when you dog the good woman and she finds better. Because our strength level ain't the same as theirs. One thing I've always admitted, prior to my relationship or whatever, did wrong. But I never had the capacity to hurt women. That was never my thing. And I even with music, I never, used the B word and H this to downgrade women. Truth be told, I was raised by a whole lot of women, and that was part of it. I had a whole bunch of aunties. Really, not a lot of men folk in my family, and my uncles didn't give me a lot of great examples. And if I don't know if Miss Simpson know my Uncle T-Bone, was a pimp, so that didn't. You already know what he tried to instill in me. Mm-hmm. So now, as a man, and I have daughters, I can't imagine not being in their relationships at some point. But at the same time, I know I gotta let them live their lives and deal with whatever comes with it. But right now, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to let them shack or live with a boyfriend out of wedlock and stuff like that. I was recently talking to my daughter. She wants to build a house. Her and her boyfriend live together. She wants to build a house. And when I told her, I said, baby, you really need to get married before you do that. And if looks could kill, I'd be dead right now. Mm-hmm. Because of the way she looked at me when I said it. And I was coming from the heart because I've seen this movie before, but they don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, how many things in your life have you done right on the first time?
Not many, bro.
Marriage, relationships ain't no. Hey, bro, marriage, relationships is the same thing. you know, the good thing about divorce, we always keep talking about the bad thing, is when you get divorced, you understand a little about what you don't like, red flags. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I done seen this one before, and you get experience, and like with Starks, whatever detriment it caused you, it allows you to be married for 25 years or 24 years right now based on that experience.
Yep.
We don't, man, again, rarely do we try something and get it right the first time. And I know marriage is sacred and all this, but look, come on, man. How many people out the gate gonna meet their soulmate? And
Yep.
if you in the army, it's a prerequisite that you be married at least twice.
That is. You can't
you
even
did 20
retire if
years
you ain't
like
been
me.
married twice. Yeah.
Twice, yeah, bro. I'm telling you.
You know, that increases your disability rating.
y'all,
And
Y'all
man,
filed
it's
y'all
not.
filed them
It's
divorces.
yeah.
man,
That's
y'all
50%.
But going back to it with Miss M. Okay, now let's put religion into play. Because I'm not the most biblical person, but he who finds a husband, what is it? How does it go?
A man that finds himself a wife has found a good thing, but the wife have to be wife material so that the man may find a giving heart, compassion, someone that has a relationship. Okay, Mr. Stern.
Give it to me.
So we talk about relationship.
Right.
But we talk about relationship in a state of where we only talk about relationship about marriage. But you're not going to save no marriage, nor are you going to have no relationship in a marriage unless you get relationship with who allowed you to go in the marriage. When we lose relationship with who we supposed to have trust, who we depend on, who we know not going to ever leave us or forsake us, because a man will leave you and a woman will leave you. But if you get into relationship with who allowed you to get married, you get to the point with, as you know, Mr. Stern, my first husband and I was divorced for years.
Right.
We became back in relationship, but we wasn't in lustful relationship. We wasn't in a marital relationship.
Right.
We was in a relationship of wondering and trying to figure out, where did we go wrong? We became friends again before he passed. But what we wanted to know, and what our conversation was always about in relationship, was, where did we go wrong in our marriage? What happened? Sure, you used to be such a godly woman. I didn't have to worry about nothing. I might be on Mac, I might be on Jenkins. I didn't have to worry about where Cher was. Cher was at the church house.
Right.
But it comes to a point that when you lose relationship in who can hold all relationships together, then that's when everything comes in, that you get stolen from you. You get your family be destroyed. So if we can't have relationship, and y'all, I'm just gonna be, and I'm gonna be quiet with it. Got my bishop online.
Okay.
But if you don't learn how to get a relationship with God, you will never have
when you
a
was gonna say his
relationship with a
name.
woman. Beg your pardon?
I was wondering when you was gonna say his name.
Yeah. If you don't never get a relationship with God, you ain't gonna never have a relationship with a woman or a man. You never will. When you get a relationship, you wonder what destroy houses now, what destroy homes, because no one has a relationship with God anymore. Back in the days when I grew up, we went to N&N clubbing. We went to the Glass House Club.
Ooh, the Glass House.
But on Saturday night, if you popped in at 12 or 12:30, which was your curfew, if you missed your curfew, mama locked the screen door. But when you woke up Sunday morning, no matter what you did out there on Saturday night, you woke up Sunday morning because you still had to show that you had a relationship with God. If you don't learn how to keep a relationship with God, you're not going to keep a marriage. It'll never work.
Oh, I can imagine it's going to be some praying days.
Okay.
I can stand, let's say, you know, I've been in the marriage 18 years, happily married. Tough times, you know, ins and outs. A lot of things probably were my doings, but she stuck with me. And I'm proud of that fact. Made me a better person, better man. These two guys that you're talking to, you know, it's no secret. I look up to both of them and where they are with relationships and in life. So to see them to speak up on past relationships and how they got to this point, you know, I commend everybody that's on this panel for opening up and sharing because it was needed. The fact that you brought the God aspect into it, it made it, you know, about a spiritual relationship as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing because my wife and I, because how we've worked over the past 10 to 15 years, it never was a lot of church involved.
Mm-hmm.
But believing in God, believing in the relationship, believing in one another, and having relationship goals pretty much got us to where we are right now. And the marriage really got tested the past 5 years, you know, with what I went through with the lung disease and the surgeries and, you know, different things like that. So and this was one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, because just to show that it affects everybody in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, like I said, they don't like to talk about it. But one of the reasons we created this show, you got to have dialogue to fix everything. And Miss Simpson was one of the ones from the first time we did this show. She texted me like, "Hey, y'all got to keep doing this. Y'all bringing that real." So it's only a matter of time before I reached out to her, because I know she got some real testimony about what we're talking about today. It's almost a shame that we're gonna have to bring this show to an end because it's been an hour. So I'm gonna get out the way. I'm gonna let everybody say their piece. And like I said, Miss Simpson, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Miss Simpson.
Yeah, I'm looking, and as I'm looking on the screen, I'm seeing my bishop. I'm seeing him over there in the corner. Y'all, this is it. Okay. We can't save the world. Okay? Because we can't even save our own self. But we have to realize what we're looking at now in society, that kids that are coming up now, if there still be a world, they're going to be moms. They're going to be dads. But if we don't begin to come as men who know how to hold their families together by the love of God, guess what? We're gonna have what we have now. We're not gonna have men, we're gonna have hoodlums. It's what we're gonna have. If you have girls, you're not gonna have nobody that you want your girl to go and marry. So we know that what we've been taught for so long about God is we've been taught about religion. but it's not about religion. It's the same thing what we're talking about tonight. In a marriage, it's about relationship. And if we want to make people understand that the only thing that keeps your house together is a relationship with him. My question is to you guys, after the COVID hit, we noticed that we had to go on virtual, what we call church,
Right.
you know. But my question is to you guys is, what makes men try to hold a relationship with their family? Is it the same relationship that you have with God? Does that make sense?
I mean, to me, like you said, if we are God or we are of God, it makes sense because, like I said, it's all about love and relationships, making everybody happy, making everybody feel welcome in this, and showing them some guidelines. That's what that's something that I've always strived to do. I have grandsons now that are 10 years old. I mean, if I could give them any type of advice about respecting women and different things like that, and I give it to them. I mean, that's me. That's just me in a nutshell, you know.
Go ahead, Rob.
It got quiet. It got quiet.
Rob.
What? Oh, y'all want me to go? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be like this. Everybody's gonna have their own relationship with their higher being that they want to have, whether that be God, Allah, or whoever that is that they pray to on a higher being. But when it comes to relationships, again, I will say, I understand what you're saying, ma'am, about, having a relationship with God is going to equal to the great relationship you'll have with whoever it is that you marry.
Right.
Everybody doesn't believe in God. The person that you might get with is the person that might believe in something else, and then what do you do? It's
You said what?
To me, I have a relationship with God. I have a relationship with my wife. We don't go to church. We don't, do all of that stuff. I'm Sinbad the Sailor, 23 and a half hours out the day. So that's just who I am as a man. I have my own relationship with God, but because I believe in God, I also think that's how my relationship has lasted. But I got friends out there that don't believe in that, and their relationships have lasted as long as they've lasted. It's all in the people, and divorce is something that do you believe in a creator? Then don't you want to do all things pleasing to your creator? Pretty hot tease.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you believe in your creator? Of course, I believe in God. I was raised in the church, by the church, and for the church. I mean, of course, I believe in God, and all day long. And of course, I think all good things are done through Him. All I'm saying, playing devil's advocate, everybody don't believe in that.
You telling the truth.
True.
Oh,
that's true.
And I've seen couples out there that don't believe in that still been together just as long as I've been with my wife. It's all in the people. We don't know. We all gonna be butt naked standing before Him when we die. So you'll find out then what was right, what was wrong.
You're right. You're so right.
What's that you, Mason?
Let me not be. Let me not be around you in that line. I want to be about 10 people back.
I'll be like, you know what? I know what you talking about, God. 1985, June 10th. Yeah, I was there.
Hey, man.
You know.
Hey, man. I think a relationship, your relationship with God is similar to your relationship with a wife or a spouse. I think it grows.
Right.
And you know, for some people, and this is real talk, some people when they become spiritually aware, it's that awareness, that awakening in them that causes them to leave their spouse.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a good point, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because it
like
allows them to see the real.
you know, yeah,
This
because
why we have
not
Macy
only that, but if you become spiritually awakened, it makes sense for you, your spouse, to be on that journey with you. But if your spouse is not, then that's already creating tension. Like your spouse might want to play the hoochie music. That's not who you are, and it's sad, but it's growth. I mean, we all grow. Like you had friends 20 years ago. Your circle probably this small now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You grow out of love, but I do believe in God. I pray every morning. I pray before I go to bed. The Bible, it's a great guideline, you know, to live by. But you know, religion has its critics. It ain't perfect either. You know, we all, you know, we all talk about it, but man, look at the world. Muslims don't like America. I mean, it's just, you know,
Christians and
it's responsible for a lot of conflict. I'll just say that. But I do believe in God. I thank God every day. Every day.
So which religion is it? Which religion is it that don't allow divorces? Because it's Catholics. Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you? So what do you do?
It used to be
You get divorced.
I know a lot of Catholic people are divorced.
So you just be miserable?
But man, look, I said it at the beginning, bro. Divorce gets a bad rap. Two people can't get along. We okay. What? Realistically, does it make sense? Does it make sense for 25 people that you know to get married and everybody stay married for 75 years? That ain't realistic, man.
So are we in agreement that you can marry too young?
Yeah, you can marry too stupid, too immature. And the thing about relationships, like we talking about family, you can't take sides because it's her side, it's his side, and it's the truth.
The truth. And then, you know, a lot of people get married off of that physical attraction. They don't even wait for that to dwindle down till you get to those core competencies of what you need to get along in your wife. People always seem to get married still while that physical attraction is there.
You mean like you the first time? Or
the second? And the second, yeah. Both times. I ain't gonna lie.
The second time was eye candy. I saw that one.
Yeah, the second, you know, Javella was on point. I was like, go ahead, little German and black girl, yeah. You know, until we was gonna go to Austin and she threw them hands on the wall and said, "You're not going anywhere." And I'm like, so
you had the original Halle Berry.
Yeah, I had the original.
Could not go to my room without seeing her.
I'm not gonna let y'all take it down that road because it'll get muddy. But like I said, man, Miss Simpson, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I'm sure they do as well.
Miss Simpson, yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming on the show. Great insight, great conversation. You know.
And in the future, I already know I'm going to have you back on some other stuff. So, yeah, you got to get on here now. So, with that being said, like I said, great show. Everybody out there, we really thank y'all for tuning in. comments, likes. We're every Thursday night, 7:30 on the bench. It's going down with Robert Starks and my boy Maceo Ellison, aka Easy.
Child
hold
support
on.
is the devil.
Yes. But hold on. Why is it always Rob Starks and then my homeboy Maceo? I'm
not
just
sure
the other
what-
brother just sitting here.
I'm not sure where I'm at with you right now, bro.
Am I a guess? Am I
you
still a
think-
guess?
You think Redman is the man? I ain't even gonna go there with you.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Two things you don't need. Yeah.
Hey.
2 things you don't need to talk about. Them Cowboys or Redman.
I'm finna get off this broadcast. Thank you again, Miss Simpson.
Thank you, Miss
Thank
Simpson.
you, Miss Simpson.